What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang from wagertalk.com and themoneyballer.com. We got a good slate today. Four games in the W, and then obviously we have the MLB slate as well. Weekend was great. Had spent a lot of time with the family, so ended up not doing any weekend shows like I was planning to. But overall, it was a good reset because we ended up going. I think we've hit six in a row now going into today. So hopefully we stay on this track here after last week. Last week wasn't that great, so starting off the week really strong here with six straight. Let's keep it going. We'll go with two games in the W, and then we'll move on to MLB. And if you are in the YouTube channel, make sure you guys drop the games you guys want to see. I can see some guys here. What up, Mark and GB? Some of the regulars here. And then we'll go through at least three games in the MLB and see if we have time for more than that. All right, let me share my screen here. Oops, shit. All right, let's go to the WNBA. We'll just do the first and the last game since I don't see anyone mentioning any specific WNBA game. So we'll do first and last. I let me see the line real quick. Just make sure that because it switched. All right, so it's 3.5 now, up to 4. It did open up around like 1.5, I believe, and then the total is down to 158. So you can see the total open minus 1.5 for the Sun, total up at 160.5, and then it's come down since then. We do have some baller system on the Storm here, but our model really likes the Sun. Looking at the schedule, we have back-to-back games, obviously, but not on back-to-back nights. You can see the line has shifted a little bit towards the Sun, and then the total moved from 156 up to 16 or 160.5, but it did come back down, like I mentioned, to around 158. The Seattle Storm, they do have a really tough game up next. Actually, both teams have tough games up next. So look aheads for both of these. Seattle going to visit the Liberty. We have Connecticut staying at home to face the Aces. If we look at historical matchup, this is their third matchup of the season, and it's split 1-1 straight up and against the spread, and also on the over/under. So if we look at some of the full season stats, we know that the Sun and Storm have been really good defensive teams since the beginning of the season. But if you look towards since the break, you can see how much the Storm has shifted from on the defensive side and the offensive side as well, actually. So you can see 4 factors here since the break: 11th in effective field goal percentage, 10th in effective field goal percentage allowed. So struggling in that area. Free throw rate not doing great on either. You can see the Sun going to the free throw line at a high rate here. Turnovers though for both teams really strong. Storm don't turn the ball over at a high rate, and then they're 1 and 2 actually in turnover rate forced. If we look at scoring, 81 points per game for the Storm since the break. 83.9 for the Sun, right above them. So really tight when it comes from the average. Points scored, but you can see here, this is where that gap is. Points per game allowed for the Sun, 81 compared to 85.5. And then points off turnovers are pretty solid for both teams. That kind of correlates with what we saw with the 4 factors. Second chance points here, pretty solid for the Storm, but the Sun defended pretty well or limit that pretty well. This is where the Storm struggle in second chance points allowed. But Sun not doing too great here, but they should be able to have some success with how bad the Storm have been with offensive rebound allowed. And then fast break points, they kind of cancel each other out here. Storm not that great, even though the Sun allow a lot of fast break points. The Sun actually doing well in fast break points, but the Storm defending it well. And then within the arc, both attempting a lot, but the Sun like just slightly more efficient there. If we look at mid-range, this is where the Storm could really take advantage of the Sun here. Mid-range attempts, upper half of the league, really efficient both on offense and defense. And then three-point shooting, the Sun really have put things together with Mabry with them. Their offensive efficiency or their three-point efficiency has become more towards the upper half of the league than the bottom half, but the Storm struggling here above the break threes. Dead last in made versus allowed. And if we look towards the trends since the break here, 5-2 first half straight up, but just 2-5 on the full game. The Sun in the first half 6-2, and then first half and full game. Look at the ATS numbers here for both teams. Storm haven't covered a game since the break, and then as home favorites, the Sun have not covered either. If we look towards the over under, kind of split here, 4-4, and then 3-4, so nothing significant. Team totals for the Sun, uh, 5-3 to the under, 2-0 to the under as home favorites. But look at the opponent team totals for both teams here: 5-2 to the over, 6-2 to the over for the Sun. Let's look at a few more things here. Let's do the full game, full season, and then home road splits. You can see that at home, the Suns' defense is really strong. Number one defensive rated at home. A lot of their four factors are green, so upper half of the league, but their offensive efficiency, their effective field goal percentage towards the bottom half, I believe it's gotten a little better overall. But looking at the splits after the break, still number 9 effective field goal percentage. A lot of green on the Sun side here for the scoring. And then the mid range still really strong for the Storm on the road. Paint scoring pretty solid for the Storm as well. And then 3-point efficiency, Sun doing a lot better than the Storm. So I think where the Storm can take advantage is right here within the arc, and then the Sun on the outside. So I mean, threes are better than twos. Both teams taking care of the ball pretty well. Defensive efficiency, I feel like this is one of those tight games. When top tier teams play each other, they should be a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball. The pace, I believe, was really slow in this game, but they were both just really efficient. So I think that this might end up being like one of those under games when teams face each other in back to back. Couple things that I want to look up before we move on to the next game here. How did both of these teams do when they face the same opponent in back to back games? The Storm 3-1 to the under, and this one actually I remember this game. This one went under in regulation, but they ended up going to double OT, so they went over. But in regulation, this would have been 4-0 to the under. Opponent's DPA, so opponent team total under would have been 4-0 as well. If we look towards the Sun side, this is the first instance for them to face the same team in back-to-back games. So to me, like I said, I think this type of trend correlates to what we're going to see today, more of a slower pace game, defensive minded. So if I was to bet this game, I would look towards the under. From a side perspective, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from the Storm overall, both offensively and defensively. And the Sun have been playing much better, especially in the perimeter, where the Storm struggle to defend. So I would look towards the Sun on the side. I would lean that way, and then also to the under. All right, let's move over to the other game that I wanted to talk about. That was the Dream and the Mercury. So I actually want to take the Dream here, but we'll dive into it real quick. So Dream, let's see what the line has shifted to. All right, so Dream opened up as a 1-point favorite, has shifted over to the Mercury. We're seeing 1.5s across the board. Total at 160 has gone up from the open. In-season revenge here for the Dream, but this is their fourth game of the road trip. Fourth and last game of a road trip. They go back home and face Dallas on the 6th. Phoenix, this is going to be their fourth of a long homestand. So they're still going to be at home and when they face Washington on the 5th. Historical matchup. This is their fourth matchup of the season. 2-1 to the over. Push against the spread here in the last matchup. And then so 1-1 actually straight up and against the spread. So they split all the way through. If we look towards since the break, the Dream have gotten a lot better on the defensive side of the ball. Their offense has become a little bit more efficient. If you look towards the full season, dead last in offensive rating, but since the break, a little bit better, seventh right there. You can see their effective field goal percentage allowed one of the better defenses in the league since the break. Offensive rebounds, that's where I feel like they're going to be able to take advantage of this Mercury team who struggles on both defensive and offensive rebound. And I think, I mean, they've been taking care of the ball ever since Canada has come back into the lineup as well. And then I feel like I believe Tina Charles should be available today too. I just want to make sure. Dream. So Charles should be available. Powers and Parker Tyus are out. So I think Tina Charles being available will help them as well. If we look at the scoring, you see the points per game allowed. It has to do with their pace and their defensive rating that has come up since the break as well. Both offenses scoring around 78 to 79 points per game, so pretty even from that standpoint. Pace of play, dead last for the Dream, 10th for the Mercury. So right now looking towards an under, so I can see why the total opened up at 158 and a half. Not really sure why the total has come up to 160. Probably has to do with Phoenix's defense giving up a good chunk of points the last few games. If we look at inside the arc, um, Mercury offense pretty decent here, fifth in paint field goal percentage, but you can see the Dream defense pretty strong there. Mid range. Mercury doing well there, third in mid range field goal percentage, but Dream defending it well as well. 3-point shooting has been really good for the Dream since the break. You can see corner threes above the break threes, not that great, but they are attempting a good chunk and defending it well as well. If we look at the break trends, 0-2 as road dogs straight up, but 1-0-1 in the first half, and then 1-1 ATS as road dogs right there. And then if you look at towards the Mercury side, 5-2-1 on the full game. You can see Dream here 5-2-1 since the break. Over unders, nothing really significant. Lean towards the under for the Dream side. Full game under 1-0 to the under as home favorites. Team totals 5-3 to the under for the Mercury on the full game. You can see the opponent team totals for the Dream 6-2 to the under. So a few things kind of pointing towards the under there. And let me look at the Mercury. I just want to pull up Mercury here. Coming off of a loss, 9-6-1 ATS, and then put P margin less than or equal to. So coming off of a double-digit loss, they do bounce back typically 6-3. So that's kind of like what kept me off initially, but I still do lean towards the Dream with how their recent form is. But looking at, so you can see here, right? They dominated against the Sparks. We had that on the first. We had the Dream on that one. They struggled against the Aces, but they were able to limit them to 83 points. They did lose to the Storm, who have been kind of struggling, but they did cover that, and they did travel. That was first game on the West Coast, so they did have to travel across the country basically. So that was a tough spot for them defensively. I do think that they could be able to limit this Mercury team, whose offense has been struggling. So I would lean Dream. I would lean towards the under as well. That would be for the WNBA. All right, so let me just look at some of the chat here before we bring in Yeet. All right, so let's go. What up, Terrell? Toast in the building. We're moving on to MLB right now. Seattle Showers in timeout. Yeah, man, they're struggling right now. Let me bring in Munaf real quick. What up, Munaf?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Getting back on track in the W, so hopefully we can continue to do that. But you messing with the W today?
I always message you for the play, so I was listening to everything you said right now, so I'll be following that. Can you talk me off of Wings over today?
Wings over. You know what? So I had two bets today. One of them was actually Washington team total over. So I got it at 83.5 yesterday.
Okay.
So real quick, I mean, I know it's not one of the key games, but I want to show you why um, I like it. All right, so you can see the offense. They were able to put 85 against Connecticut for Washington, right? And this is what their fifth straight game at home for the Wings. Look at the amount of points that they gave up: 110, 90. They did limit Minnesota, but 100 for Indiana, 109 at home here for Connecticut. If we go down to the trends real quick, the team total overs, and we've talked about this a lot on this show. But if we go on the full season, look at the opponent team total overs right now: 25, 6-1. Two of them went under, I believe, after the break as home dogs. As home favorites, they're still 5-0 to the over for opponents. So, and then less rested, 7-1-1 to the over. So a lot of things really pointing towards the Mystics kind of taking advantage of this spot here. So I keyed in on Mystics team total over, but I definitely can't talk you off an over in general because on the season 22-10 to the over. I can't talk you off at all, dude. But like I said, I took the Mystics team total over specifically.
Got it.
Let's move on to the MLB. Let's see what games people mentioned. Shit, I forgot to use the banner. One second. All right, so up top we have Mark mentioning Philly, Toronto, Cleveland, KC, St. Louis, Milwaukee. Pretty sure that's Milwaukee. I kind of want
Yeah.
to look at this Milwaukee game. Did anyone else mention games here? If not, we'll just go with those.
Ski wants another Nerfy play if you got one.
Man, we'll look for a game and look at the weather and make sure it's a dome. All right, so let's go with let's do Brewers first, and then we'll see. Looks like Phillies is another one.
Phillies, yeah, Blue Jays.
Yeah,
Oh, that
Phillies.
that one could have weather implications in Toronto, playing in a dome there.
Yep, yeah. We'll see what Ski has to say about that. All right, let's do Brewers, and then we'll do
Yeah,
Phillies, and then we'll see what comes up next.
cool.
All right, so MLB. All right, so we got Cardinals and Brewers. We do have Mats versus Savali. Savali, right? Is that how would you say it?
Savali, so I don't
Savali.
know, whatever.
Yeah.
People get it.
Brewers with the matchup rating here +3. Starting pitcher matchup is a 4, which is really strong in when it comes to the record for money line. But the line is at like 150. Is it still around there? It has come down.
Um,
So down to like 142, well, yeah, 140 to 150, 155 here at DraftKings as well. So it's
mhm.
kind of all over the place. What's schedule wise, this is the second game of the series. Milwaukee 9-3 yesterday. Um, let's go to last 5 for Mats. This is first start for a long time.
Yeah, he's coming back off of the IL. The last time he pitched, I think, was like April 30th, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
against Detroit.
that's
So it's
crazy.
been a minute for him.
That's tough to back that. All right, so
Yeah.
we go Mats. Prior to being out, he did struggle here. 3 straight games with home runs, gave up runs, so he must have been getting he must have been injured like throughout that part. We go to Savali, strong start here in his last one against the Giants. Actually been pretty decent as far as like earned runs given up, but has been giving up home runs 3 in last 5 games. Somewhat has some control issues. Did have 7 Ks in the last one. That's a lot higher than what we typically see from him. If
Hmm.
we go to full season trends, um, 10-16 for Savali overall, 5-6 as home favorites. So not really a strong spot for him. Overs for both of these guys. Matt's 4-1-1 to the over on the full game, 2-0-1 as road dogs, 16-9-1 overall for Savali on the full game, 7-4 as home favorites specifically versus right-handed pitchers. Kind of right down the middle there for the Cardinals versus left-handed pitchers, 18-22 on the full game for the Brewers. Home favorite 6-5. Pretty decent here in the first 5, 6-3-2. If we're looking at the money line, overs as home favorites versus left-handed pitchers for the Brewers, 8-2-1. first five, 6-2-3 on the full game, but unders as road dogs here versus right-handed pitchers, especially towards the full game, 20-14-2. Let's go to last 30 days. All right, so last 30 days, Savali really strong here, 4-0 straight up, 2-0 as home favorites, 4-0 to the over in first five, 2-1-1 on the full game. Versus left-handed pitchers, though, Brewers not doing too well. Only 7-game sample size, 2-4-1 in the first five, 3-4 in the full game. Road dog situation for the Cardinals not that great, 3-5-1, and then in the first five, 4-5 on the full game. More things to the over in the first five here for the Brewers versus left-handed pitchers, 5-2 to the over first five, 2-0 as home favorites. That correlates with Savali here. So first thing that I could see is maybe first five overs. Let's go to the stats here. 5.6 runs per game for the Brewers. Cardinals actually hitting a little bit better as far as average. The speed goes to the Brewers. Power definitely to the Brewers side. So advantage offensively for the Brewers. It looks like he had. I'm wondering why he has a one start here. That doesn't make sense to me? But
Who is this?
for Mats, it says within the last 30 days he had one start, but I don't see it up top.
Yeah, the last time he was out there, let me just double check. But last time it was April 30th in Detroit.
Gotcha. Savali though, you can see a lot of negative regression for Savali, going 1.93 ERA to 3.82, 4.73 xFIP. To me, if Mats is coming back first time since April, and then we got Savali with a ton of negative regression, that kind of correlates with the first five over, right?
I would think so. You also take a look at Milwaukee, in particular at home, RC. They're I want to say one of the more profitable teams towards the over as well, and they're swinging a hot bat right now as well. So anytime I see a pitcher that's coming off of the IL after this long, you're probably going to get an innings limit on him or something in that neighborhood, whether he's going to be out there 3-4 innings or on a pitch count or something like that. But Milwaukee's swinging a hot bat right now too, man. So I couldn't talk you off a first five or a full game. Milwaukee also RC over the last 2 weeks, number 3 in WRC plus against left-handed pitching. Team batting average number 3 as well. They're slugging at number 2 as well. So yeah, I could see a first five Brewers team total over, or just the over in general in first five.
All right, so look at this. So this is Brewers at home versus starting lefties. First five over has been more profitable than the full game. 11-6-1 to the over there. 2.94 for the Brewers. Opponents 2.28. So they're up over 5 runs. I'm assuming the first half is what, 4.5? And it shouldn't be too juiced to the over either that I could think of.
First five is 4.5 minus 125. But definitely shop around. That's just, what I'm seeing.
Gotcha. All right. So another thing to think about. All right. So I took that home and then added favorite here. 8-2-1 to the first five over, and more. They're doing pretty well in that spot as far as like runs in the first five. They have. I would probably stay away from the side and just key in on that first five over. Even though the average here says there's a big gap, I think a lot of that has to do with just a couple games. But Brewers bullpen, they've actually been pretty solid. I would think it's the over.
First five over, yeah.
First five over.
I think so.
What do you think about the Cardinals bullpen?
I feel like it's gonna be a long stretch for them. Because yesterday I think they came in as well. Because the starter yesterday, I forgot who was starting for them, but I want to say they had a lot of bullpen usage yesterday as well, which can't bode well for a guy that's coming off of the IL.
Yeah.
After not pitching over the last several months. Let me see here. I'm pulling up their box score from yesterday.
Man, it almost seems like it should be the Brewers side. I'm not 100% sure I could back the run line on it.
The Brewers run line. I had it yesterday. I mean, it was a nice price on that run line. That one
Yeah,
got there. It's just how much do you trust Aaron Savali, honestly.
that's the problem right there is that negative regression, and then so I think the better look would be the over first five.
Yeah,
But I
over
would
4.5.
still, yeah, over first five. But I would lean towards the Brewers side as far as like money line
Yeah, they scored
goes.
7 in the first 5 yesterday
Yeah.
combined.
All right, cool. Yeah, that would be the way to go there. So also lean towards the Brewers side. All right, let's go with. Do you think Brewers should be the side though?
I like the Brewers side. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Sounds
yeah, I
good.
do.
Would you take the run line or would you just kind of stick with the money line?
Um, it's only the fact that makes me nervous of what you mentioned about Savali may have some negative regression due here.
Yeah.
Um, I'd lean towards it, but it's nothing that I'm not as excited about it as I was yesterday, or as
Yesterday.
confident, I should
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
I know yesterday that Brewers play was one of the featured plays too for
yeah,
the money bar.
yeah.
Those have been going pretty well. Almost went 3-0 yesterday. The Royals kind of mucked it up though.
Yeah.
Let's go to Phillies Blue Jays. All right, so we have Phillips and Bassett. Blue Jays slight home favorites. Let's check to see if that's still the case here. Yeah, they're still slight home favorites. Total at 8.5. The Phillies on the rating system here with a +4. We do also have a baller system on the Phillies side. First game of the series on the road here for Phillies. They did win 3-2, two straight wins against Atlanta. And Blue Jays coming off a loss to the Twins. All right, so last 5 starts for Phillips. Kind of struggling here. Gave up 5, 4, and 8 in the last 3. 4 home runs total in the last 3 starts as well. Ton of hits, giving up 9 hits right there versus the Marlins. If we look at Bassett's side, definitely a strong start in his last one, but he's also been giving it up.
Mm-hmm.
4, 3, 7, gave up 4 home runs in that 3-game span as well. Both of them slight control issues, but not as bad as what we've seen with others. Let's go full season trends. So Phillips 4-2 first 5, 5-1 on the full game. Just so happens both of those losses were as road dogs. If we look at Bassett, 8, 12, and 7 in the first 5, 10 and 17 full game. Not really that strong as home favorites. If we look towards the total side, 5-1 to the over first 5 for Phillips, 4-2 full game. Overs as home favorites here overall. As home favorites for Bassett, 6-3 on the full game. Unders in the first 5 though, 17 and 10 to the first 5 under overall. Versus right-handed pitchers for both teams here. Strong in the first 5 for Phillies, 47, 30, and 9, 7, 9, and 1 as road dogs. If I remember correctly though, the last 30 days have not been great for the Phillies, so we'll see that in a little bit. But 50, 36 on the full game overall. Totals lean towards the over right here. Phillies 46, 32, and 6 to the over in the first 5. As road dogs specifically, overs 12 and 5 to the over on the first 5, 11, 6 on the full game, 21 and 14 to the over as home favorites on the full game. Let's go to last 30. All right, so last 30, Bassett 0-4 and 1 in that first 5. Overs in these spots here specifically, 2-0 to the over for Phillips, 2-0 as home favorites for Bassett. Struggling right there. So you can see last 30 days versus right-handed pitchers, first 5, like pretty much the opposite of what we saw for full game. 5-14, opposite of for full season. 5-14 and 1 in the first 5 as road dogs specifically 1 and 6. Much better for the Blue Jays here in the first 5, 10, 6, and 4. So full season would say Phillies, but recent form would say Blue Jays in that first 5. Still continue to be overs for Phillies as a road dog. If we look at stats, pretty even offensively for runs per game. power towards the Blue Jays side, but you got the speed on Philly side. Average also on the Philly side. Pretty, I would think, pretty even offensively. Phillies, they're not walking at a high rate, but they're not striking out at a high rate either. If you look at the last 30 days, Phillips only 2 starts. Some positive regression for both of these guys actually. Phillips with a 4-run gap between ERA and FIP, almost 2 runs here, about 1.5 for Chris Bassett. But both bullpens, especially the Blue Jays bullpen, kind of struggling here. I would think negative regression on that side, giving up home runs at a super high rate as well. This one's kind of tough for me. With I mean, both offenses pretty even, like I said, but a lot of positive regression on the pitching matchup right here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think that I don't want to trust either one of these pitchers. I mean, just look at Tyler Phillips' last couple starts. He's giving it up as well. Chris Bassett hasn't been very good at home either for the Blue Jays as well. So I think that just kind of tells me that I would expect to see runs in both of these in these games here, or sorry, in this game, but with these two pitchers on the mound. It was at 9. It kind of makes me nervous that it came down to 8.5.
Yeah.
For the total. But maybe, I mean, if you just want to fade both pitchers here, you probably just want to, again, another first 5 over in this game, like we talked about for the Brewers and the Cardinals.
Let me just check something real quick. I mean, I just see a ton of positive regression. That's what kind of keeps me off the over. And then if we look at 2024-07, let's just pull since July. Damn, it's still overs.
Yeah.
They're just not. Most of it is their opponent. So 6 runs, 3.56. Is Phillips in here? So Phillips right here, 2 to 10 versus the Mariners.
Yeah, against the Mariners, that's kind of telling. How bad that offense is.
Hold on. Let's look at Blue Jays here. Blue Jays at home. See, it's the opposite for the Blue Jays. First game of the series, they limit their opponent. Actually, both sides kind of limited. 3.62 on both sides. The first 5 here, 1-6-1. Sorry, 6-1-1 to the under.
Yeah.
This one's tough. It's kind of like the opposites. Let's go Bassett. And first game of the series. First game of the series for Bassett. First 5, 7-1 to the under.
Yeah, it's like conflicting.
What just happened? Hold on. First game of the under, 7-1 to first game of the series, 7-1 to the under for Bassett.
Mm-hmm.
If we go specifically at home, 4-1 to the under, and he's not getting a lot of run support in that first 5, but they get to their opponents. All right, hold on, let's go Phillips.
He's gone up against some pretty good pitching in those first games as well. I should say the Blue Jays have.
Gotcha. Damn, that's kind of gross. All right, let's see.
Feels like a stay away now.
It does. A lot of things kind of just canceling each other out, right?
Yeah. Because one side you have like the Phillies that looks like they're trending towards the over, putting up a whole bunch of runs.
But the other thing
that team total over then, first 5.
Phillies team total over.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's look at that. All right, so we have on the road Phillips. He does get some run support. Struggled against Wu. They struggle against Wu, and then we go towards Bassett's side. At home, 2.4. Damn. You said Phillies team total over.
Yeah, it should be 2.5.
In the first 5, right?
Yeah.
4-1. All right, so that comes up a little bit better. 3.5 in that first five for their opponents. Phillies team total over. Phillies TTO for F5. That's 2.5.
Yeah, it'll be 2.5.
Okay, that this kind of helps it a little bit more. 3.5 on the first five for their opponents. And if we do 4.25. All right, so that makes me feel a little bit better on that first five over for their opponent. Then look at that first five in the spot here,
Straight up.
specifically 0-4. Phillies would be a plus money in that first five, right?
Yeah, they're underdogs in the game, right? Let me double check here.
Just wondering if it would be, like sometimes it's shaded a little bit.
Yeah. So they're plus 112 first five, plus 115.
And so if you look at last 30 days, look at Bassett in the first five, 0-4-1. All right, so I think that so it's either one or the other. So Phillies team total over first five, 2.5, or just Phillies money line in that first half.
Would you play Phillies first five plus a half?
Plus a half. What would that be?
It's minus 125.
Minus 125. Phillies. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I don't like taking the plus.
Yeah, it's like you're just banking on a push or a tie game. I mean,
yeah. I can't talk nobody off of it, but
yeah.
Me personally, if I was to bet it, it would probably be that money line, first five money line.
Yeah.
All right, so Phillies bullpen advantage. Any thoughts on that one? You think they have the advantage?
I think recent form they've been pretty good. The Phillies bullpen.
Yeah.
And they should be rested as well. They had the day off yesterday. I want to say that for that game before.
Oh, both had day off though.
Yeah, so nobody. I mean, since yesterday was Labor Day. Actually, the Blue Jays played. Oh, sorry, that's a Sunday. Yeah, they both had the day off yesterday. Then I want to say Sunday. It was that Sunday night game where the Phillies they did go into extra innings against the Braves, but they still had that day off in between.
Here's a little bit more support. Not as great the last month or so though. You can see they're not getting a good chunk of runs for them. But you can see here 9-4-1 straight up, 8-5-1 to the over in that first five. 3.36 in the first five as far as like runs per game. Man, I just don't like this recent form. That's the only thing that kind of
for Tyler Phillips.
Yeah. I mean, in general, look at the offense here. Just kind of struggling.
I mean, his month of I think it was him that month of August was really, really bad.
Blue Jays still struggle in that first five. All right, so I think it's just Philly's first five money line. I wouldn't even mess with that first five team total, probably. But they do have 3.6. Maybe I'll just split it. Maybe just split it in half.
That recent form just makes me really, really nervous for Tyler Phillips.
Yeah. That's tough. All right. All right. So that's that game. I think Yankees were the other one. Or what? Did you see any other games?
I in the chat I didn't see. I think If you want to get to the Yankees, I played the Twins last night at on the money line.
You did play Twins.
Yeah, I think it's a big rating on TMB as well.
11:40. All right, we got time. Let's do Twins and Yankees because I want to get to both of those. All right, so Minnesota Twins. So Twins Rays. Rays slight home favorites here. Total at 7.5. Festa versus Springs. Yeah, definitely a plus. Strong look towards the Twins. +7 there. They got it done yesterday too. I think there were a 6 yesterday too, and so it's come up. Yeah. So they took care of business yesterday. 5-4 was a little bit tight. Festa, pretty decent. Did give up a home run in his last start. Springs has been pretty good too. Both of them pretty solid the last 5 starts. If we look at full season trends,
It's funny for
Festa,
Festa, like his home and road record,
yeah.
it's completely opposite. It's weird.
Yeah, I see that right now. So 0-3, 0-3. It's 0-4 at home,
Yeah.
3-0 on the road. That's pretty interesting. All right, so and then the first five, 2-5-1. So the overall numbers are kind of little bit misleading, right? Because he's been so good on the road.
Mhm.
Springs 4-2 on the season, 1-4-1 in the first five. You can see that both of them kind of struggled in the first five, and then the bullpens kind of take over. Unders here for both of these guys. 6-2 to the under first five for Festa, 5-2-1 to the under for the full game. Springs 4-1-1 to the under in the full game, but 4-2 to the over in that first five. Twins versus left-handed pitchers, pretty decent, but as road dogs specifically, just 3-7 first five and full game. If we look at right-handed pitchers for the Rays versus right-handed pitchers, they're really struggling in that first five, 30, 56, and 18, even as home favorites as well. Not a profitable spot for them. 10, 13, and 5 in the first five, 13 and 15 on the full game. Trend towards the under for the Rays versus right-handed pitchers, but overs for the Twins versus left-handed pitchers. Let's look at last 30 days. Last 30 days, both not profitable in that first five. 3-2 on the full game though. For Springs, but as road dogs, 1-0 for each of them. Road dogs 1-0 for Festa, 1-0 for home favorites. As for Springs, a lot of unders on the full game still. 4-0-1 to the under in the full game for both of them. 5-0 to the under in that first five for Festa. A lot of things kind of pointing towards the under right now. Versus right-handed pitchers for the Rays in that first five, still really struggling in the last 30 days. 5, 15, and 3, 12 and 11 to the over. So that's pointing towards opponent team total overs in that spot. First five overs for the Twins, 2-0. Nothing really significant for versus left-handed pitchers, only 8-game sample size, but not profitable in that spot. If we look at the stats, offense towards the Twins side slightly here. Ray's offense really struggling, so that's why it's pointing to a lot of unders. Festa we do see a little bit of positive regression, but both of them pretty solid throughout the last five starts here. The Rays are, or in Springs, he does give up home runs at a pretty decent rate here, so that's something the Twins can probably get to. Bullpen, and both of them are pretty. So Ray's pretty solid here. Surface level number 2.61 ERA, but a ton of negative regression. And then the opposite for the Twins. We're seeing some positive for the Twins here. I can only look towards the Twins too. Would you key in on that first five though, to stay away from the Rays bullpen, or do you think that the Rays negative regression on the bullpen is something we could take advantage of?
So if we look at the game yesterday, RC, the starter for the Twins only lasted 3 2/3 inning, and then you had the bullpen that came in the rest of the way. So they had a lot of heavy usage out of the bullpen for the Twins, and then you could say the same thing for the Rays as well. Their starter Zach Littell yesterday only lasted 4 innings, and then they had 4 guys that came out of their bullpen to obviously finish up the game. I think you're going to get length out of at least David Festa today. I couldn't talk you off of if you wanted to take Twins first 5 innings money line and full game as well. I think that David Festa is going to go along really well here today. So
and their offense. So I'm looking at this right here. They struggle with Ks, 26.3 strikeout rate, and both Festa is a strong strikeout pitcher. Twins bullpen pretty good with strikeouts too. So I think it makes sense to do that first 5 and the full game.
Yeah.
From a total perspective, I know this is one thing that I've been looking at a lot was the Rays team total under. Would this be another spot for that Rays team total under?
Maybe first 5 team total under for the Rays. You mentioned that Jeffrey Springs gives up home runs. Minnesota's a team that does rely on hitting the home run.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And this is one of those games as well, RC, that the first 5 innings is shaded towards the Rays side. I'm seeing around minus 115 for the first 5 innings, and then the full game's at minus 106.
Check. So I'm looking at this real quick. With their offense kind of struggling, I wanted to see after they put up at least 4 runs in their previous game. They do tend to go under, especially in that first half, first 5, 37, 22, and 3 to the under, averaging 1.2. What's their team total in the first 5? Is it 1? I hope it's not 1.5.
Since they're favored with a total of 4, I think it would be a 2.5 juice to the under.
Right? Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it though.
And then that first 5 money line too, 32, 23, and 8. And let's actually.
Can you add home in there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to do that right now. At home.
And let me see if I can find that first 5 team total.
Dang it. Still lean to the under, 18, 11, and 3 to the under. The first 5 straight up gets more. I guess it's probably because they're not giving up a lot of runs either. So 12, 14, and 6 on the first 5 money line. Let's do a home favorite.
The first 5 total is 4 right now.
It seems like that first 5 under might be a spot here. First 5 under. First 5 under. Let me check. And you said it's 2.5 juice to the under?
Yeah, for the team total.
2.5 juice to the under.
Let me double check another. It might be conflicting between 1.5 juice to the over, then under 2.5. It just depends on the book. Let me see.
Let me just check. 3-3. All right, so that 3-0 is a good spot for batting. When team batting is 3 and their opponent team batting is 0, that's a strong spot as well. Obviously the +7. I gotta look towards Minnesota on the full game.
And maybe first 5s are 1.5. I'm sorry.
Oh, it is 1.5?
Yeah.
All right, so the way that I would look at this, just combining everything together, I would think that it's the Twins money line full game. Did you take the full game or the first 5?
Full game.
All right, so
it opened at plus odds yesterday. I got it at plus 105. It's right now at minus 104.
Gotcha. All right, so Twins money line full game. Now I would also look towards the first 5 under as well. Those would be the 2 ways that I look at it.
Bet that right now.
Because there's a chance. So both of the starting pitchers are really strong. First 5 should go to the under. If this holds true with the negative regression on the Rays side, Twins get to them because they're giving up home runs at a decent rate too, right? One per 9, over 1 per 9.
Mm-hmm.
If Twins get to them, they could end up getting over on the full game. But at least if they do that, that means Twins on the money line full game would be a strong play.
That makes sense.
That would be the way that I go on that one. All right, last game before we cut out. Let's do the Yankees. Do you have a hard out or what?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Let's do one more Yankees. All right, Yankees, Rangers. Rangers slight home dogs today. Lefty versus lefty. Rodon versus Haney. Rating system towards the Yankees side again at 3 batting versus 0. And then we go to the schedule. Yankees 8-4 yesterday. Last 5 starts for Rodon. Struggled in his last one. Gave up 5 earned runs and a home run. Last time he gave up a good chunk of runs, he bounced back in his next start. Maybe that's something that we see today. Haney, this must have been canceled or something. So last start, he did pretty well against Pittsburgh, but struggled in his previous 3. Minnesota, he already faced the Yankees.
Yeah,
he struggled there too. Gave up a home run. Let's go full season trends real quick. Haney struggling first five and full game, 6-15-4. First five, 8-17 on the full game, 16-10 for the full game for Rodon. Overs as road favorites here, and overall for Rodon as well. Unders for Haney overall, 2-0 to the under as home dogs. In general, at home, Haney is 9-2 to the under.
Yeah.
If we go to splits versus left-handed pitchers, both kind of struggling overall in this spot here. 9-19-7 in the first five for the Rangers, 14-21 for the full game for the Rangers. So Rangers struggling a little bit more than the Yankees are, especially as home dogs here. 0-3-1 in the first five, 1-3 full game. Unders, strong unders for the first five for the Rangers, 24-11. 4-0 as home dogs to the under in the first five. But road favorites slightly lean towards the over. Let's go to last 30 days. Last 30 days, first five still struggling for Haney 0-2-2. Road favorite situation for Rodon, not strong though, 0-2. Unders on the full game, 4-0 in the last 30 days, 3-1 to the under for Haney in the first five and full game. Rangers really struggling here versus left-handed pitchers in the last 30 days. 0-5-1 first five, 1-5 on the full game, 0-3 as home dogs. Not great for the Yankees, specifically as road favorites though. Unders in the first five for Rangers, 5-1 to the under, 3-0 to the under as home dogs specifically. Let's go to stats. Yankees offense definitely a little bit better, definitely better than the Rangers right now as far as last 30 days. They do rely on power. And you can see Haney's home runs per nine giving up pretty decent rate right there. So the Yankees should be able to get to him, especially in that first five. We also see some negative regression here on the advanced numbers. Positive regression slightly for Rodon in this spot here. K rate towards the bottom half of the league. So Rodon should be able to get some Ks on this Rangers squad too in that first five. Bullpen advantage to the Yankees as well. I can only look towards the Yankees here. Rangers bullpen giving up home runs at a high rate too, so Yankees should be able to get to them as well. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like Rodon like alternates between good start, bad start, good start, bad start. But if the Rangers are really struggling against left-handed pitching,
Yeah,
that's honestly the way I would look. Haney hasn't been very good in his career against the Yankees as well. I know we mentioned that he just faced them earlier in the month of August. I know Stroman was a starter there as well, but the offense really got to him as well. In his career, I think he's 1-6 straight up against the Yankees there. He's not getting a lot of run support, and I think that's what's kind of been the downfall for him. Like you look at his numbers on surface, he has a sub ERA of 4, but like his win percentage or his win loss is like 4-13. So that kind of tells you that he's not getting a whole heck of a lot of run support. So I think the offensive success can continue for the Yankees here. I'm a little bitter yesterday because I took the first 5 team total over for the Yankees. They scored 2, and then the next inning they scored 6 more or 5 or 6 more runs in that 6th inning. So typically that's how it always goes. But I would look towards the Yankees side. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute, RC.
my bad.
Oh, you good.
Old Rangers Yankees matchup here. 0-3 and so Yankees. Sorry, is it Rangers? Yeah, Rangers. 0-3-1 in the first five, 1-3 on the full game. The difference between the first half overs and unders: 3-1 to the under in the first five, 3-1 to the over on the full game. You can see here, Yankees scored 8 at least in three of the matchup. They already scored 8 on Haney earlier on. Rodon smashed them in the first game between the two as well. Rangers didn't score at all against him. It would be Yankees or nothing, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't see any other. And what is the price at right now? 138. I mean, that's not bad for a money line. For what I'm seeing, would you do money line or run line first five, or how would you take this one?
So I know yesterday they got to the run line as well. If we think the offense is going to hit Andrew Haney, I think you could see something similar to yesterday, like a 7-3, 7-4, 6, whatever, that they
Yeah.
win by 2+ runs. Um, I think it was yesterday after that fifth inning where I think I want to say the bullpen came in at that point for the Rangers and gave up the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go first 5 inning run line, couldn't talk you off of that, or first 5 innings money line for the Yankees, or if you want to go full game run line as well, because you get all 9 at bats with the Yankees as the road team here.
So real quick, this is what I looked at. I can only look towards the Yankee side. So just looking
Yeah.
at what Haney has done this season, and then what this pulls right here is if they played the same team and then as a starter, he gave up at least 4 runs. So starter runs allowed.
Yeah.
So in his last matchup, obviously against the Yankees, he gave up at least 4 runs. 0-4 straight up in this spot. Not a lot of run support. Obviously, Nationals didn't get a ton of runs there. Mariners didn't get a ton of runs here, but I mean, the Yankees' offense is well above them.
Yeah.
Let me
100%.
just pull it down to 3 and see if there's a difference here. 2-8, 2-8 full game. Yeah, full game straight
Look at
up.
that first 5.
First 5, yeah. Let me just do the opposite right here for Rodon. So we'll do Carlos Rodon. And then we'll say, I don't think he gave any in his last. All right, so let's do less than or equal to 1. First 5 is still strong, 4.25 to 2.75. He does give up runs in that following matchup. Typically, first 5 over. Would you think first 5 over team total?
I mean, I played it yesterday. I got burned by half a run.
Now that means today's the day.
That
right?
means today's the day, right? Usually, when you don't catch the day before, it always catches the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. I mean, based off everything that you just said, I think that really would be the look. GB dropped a trend in the chat if you want to check it out.
I'll check that out real quick. I just want to go back 1 second before it's still in my mind.
So it's kind of telling also, RC, if you look at the first 5 for the Yankees, money line's -140, and then their run line minus half is at -105. So they're expecting the Yankees to be up at the end of 5.
Their team total over 2.5 in that first 5, juice to the over, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, what is it at?
-120, I see. -125, I see as well.
All right, I think that might be the way that I go, or even the Yankees first 5 run line too. All right. So let me pull this trend from GB 2024. All right, so -110. So within that, within this line parameter, -110 to -150, Andrew Haney has been profitable on the season. 6-1, 4-1, and 2. That's interesting. Let's go road. 1-1 full game, 1-0-1 in that first 5, 2-0 to the under. That's tough. I mean, that's tough.
He's at home today, though, right? Isn't
he? Is he?
Yeah, I thought they were playing in.
Oh no! So this is looking at Haney
just in
as
general.
the opposite.
Okay.
He put it at the opposite, so we can actually go here, and we'll just say home dog or something. Home dog. All right, so 2-0 to the under, still giving up 2.5 in that first 5. It's the Mariners. Mets kind of struggled during this period too, offensively, right?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of games that we play the Mariners.
Yeah. So if you look at the the first 5 run line though, it's 0-2. So maybe it's not the team total and just focus in on that
Just the
run line,
first five.
first 5 run line, or
Yeah.
first five. What's the first 5 money line at?
-1. Let's see here. It's around -140.
-140. I probably would just do the run line.
Yeah, you could either get that at even money around or like -105 ish.
Okay. It would probably be Yankees first 5 run line then. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right, that's it. Damn, that was pretty solid slate that we went through right there. Let me stop sharing real quick. Munaf, before we move on to top looks, do want to shout out the moneyballer.com, the site we used today. Obviously, you saw the trend stats, all the insights that we provide. So we have like a model for the WNBA, and we have the rating system for MLB. We also have our NFL page up. Actually, let me just bring that up real quick. Share. So NFL page is up here, and then so right now NFL page is up. We have all the lines throughout the week 1, and I think through whatever lines are available right now should be available. We do have our baller systems up and running already for all the games. We do have the schedule that includes last season already, and then the look ahead. So what's up next for that team? We have the historical matchups from previous seasons. We have stats from last season already. You have the splits, however you want to split them. So you can see we have performance, possession, yardage, rushing, receiving. We still want to get more stats, and we're working on that right now. We have the trends, straight up ATS, OU, team totals for the team and opponent, and then ATS ranges as well. So I know people like to look at that, especially for NFL, where the key numbers are and all that stuff too. So that's there and available. And then also real quick, we do have the season previews. Season previews, you don't need a subscription. If you go to the content page, you can find all the NFL team previews right here. But if you are a subscriber, if you are a subscriber, you can go directly to that team's preview page right here, and then kind of help you with your handicapping process. And then obviously we do have a model as well for the NFL that doesn't bring any model output. Basically, we're waiting until week 4, so after week 3. All right, so and also the Discord, free Discord right here. Just click on that, boom, and then you get a direct link to the Discord. That's free. Don't have to pay for that. All right, let's move on to top looks, Munaf.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I like Minnesota here today on the money line. I think we thoroughly went through that game with everything on the Money Baller site and looking at some of the trends there. I expect to get length out of David Festa here today. And you mentioned that Jeffrey Springs prone to giving up the home run ball, and Minnesota really thrives on that. So I do like Minnesota. If you want to take first 5 innings, or if you want to split a unit with that with full game there as well, I couldn't talk you off of that. Well, that would be my definite top look. Brewers team total over, I think, might be another great look here today as well. That they're swinging a hot bat right now. One of the better teams against left-handed pitching. Steven Matz coming off of the IL after missing multiple months. I think it's been like 4 months since he's pitched for the Cardinals there. Gotcha. So yeah, those will be my 2 top looks.
All right, for me, so let's go to the WNBA real quick. So we talked about the sun on the side and the under. We also talked about the dream and the under. We talked about, well, we didn't really break down the full game, but I did mention the Mystics team total over, and some of the trends that kind of pointed in that direction. I think for the top look, I would just give the one that I did bet out of those, even though we didn't break it down. Washington team total over. I did get it at 83.5, but I think it should be good up to like 85 or so, just with how bad the Dallas defense is at home specifically, and the pace of play for both of these teams. And then for the MLB side, we talked about a lot of games here. Brewers Cardinals over first five. Phillies team total over first five. Phillies first five money line. So a lot of first fives today. Rays Twins first five under. Twins money line on the full game, which is what you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees first five run line. Um, out of all of those, I do like the Twins money line, so I'll agree with you there. And then also the Yankees first five run line. I think that would be the spot too. Um, one, two, yeah, those would be the two. Maybe I kind of want to take Brewers as well on the money line. I think some other people mentioned it in the chat as well. So Brewers money line. All right, so those will be the top looks for the MLB. All right, with that said, I know NFL is coming up this weekend.
Yep.
And I know you got a lot of NFL content, so let the people know what you got going on.
Yeah, doing a player prop show specifically with Chris. We'll start Thursday Night Football actually later this afternoon over on Sports Gambling Podcast Network. If you want to tune us with this live, just type in Propcast on YouTube. Doing a pregame show on Sundays as well for the NFL season. So look out for us. And I got some work as well over on pregame.com for NFL as well. So yeah, it's go time right now, obviously, with NFL starting this week. So definitely looking forward to it.
Love it. Yeah. And then so the TMB group, we did sign up for the Circa. Did you sign up for Circa or you're doing your own?
I'm trying to get out there this weekend for like a night and just sign up and get back home. It's TBD, but I definitely want to get out there.
Yeah, so we did sign up for Circa. We did just one entry. We were thinking about doing the Survivor,
Yeah.
but we'll probably just save that for next season. But yeah, so we're trying to figure out as a team like what we're gonna do for show content for NFL. Maybe we just maybe we record our session for picking the 5 games and then drop that as a show or whatever. But we're still thinking about it. But obviously we're gonna do NFL content throughout the season on Let's Cap. But yeah, we're really excited for NFL. Obviously WNBA is gonna continue. NBA is already around the corner, man. This is the season for us to, man. I think hopefully we don't get burnt out, Meanoff, because I know you do a lot of content too. But
Yeah.
man, sometimes when you do so much, you get burnt out at some point. So hopefully we don't get we don't get too burnt out.
Yeah.
And winning also helps with that as well. So with that said, that's the end of the show, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button, the subscribe button as well. Share it with all your friends. If you guys like, especially if you guys like how we break down the games here on the show. Yeah, and we'll always have to end the show like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.